happy cheese-making future.
The mage stood in the circle, Lazare, and his captain of the guard, Erza, are trying to summon a spirit that may know something about the circle. Everything they say is incredibly blunt exposition.
The Divine himself asked me to research the Circulum Infinitus.
After you practically begged him.
Apparently the circle was made back when the Winter mages were incredibly powerful, and Lazare wants to study it, because it can bring people back from the dead.
It's supposed to bring the dead back to life, Tasia, just as they were before.
Right.
We will talk about that later. Erza is not very happy about dealing with spirits, but she sees how much that means to Lazare and begrudgingly goes along with it. They summon Matt Mercer, the Spirit of Wisdom.
Welcome, Spirit of Wisdom.
Rezarin Amosi, Magister of the Tevinter Imperium.
Who seems to be suspiciously interested in the circle, to where he's visibly shocked and holding himself back.
The Circulum.
I'm sure they will be able to notice it. He says the circle is the last work of one Amelia Pavus, and that weirdly enough, it hasn't been used.
Last and greatest work of Magister Amelia Pavus.
Pavus, like Dorian Pavus. One of the companions you can have in Dragon Age Inquisition. Lazare asks for a way to use the circle without blood magic, which is nice, but instead of answering the question with an excuse to touch the circle, the spirit starts being cryptic and dancing around it, raising suspicion, especially when he says activation of the artifact will attract an unwanted pair of eyes.
Should the Circulum go to the one that seeks it, all of Tevinter will burn.
And then he turns into a demon of pride. You see, in the Dragon Age universe, the spirit realm is a place called the Fade. A chaotic realm filled with magic that every now and then produces entities that don't possess any will of their own. That is, until they are exposed to dreams.
We're in the Fade? That's where humans dream, isn't it?
Aside from dwarves,
Dwarves shouldn't be here. We don't dream. We sleep like a stone.
everyone's dreams end up in the Fade, where they take shape and can be viewed by anyone there. The entities absorb every sentiment and knowledge that comes from those dreams, embed them into their very core, and embody those aspects to their fullest.
I am Valor, a warrior spirit. I hone my weapons in search of the perfect expression of combat.
They can become spirits of wisdom, justice, faith, and so on. Or they can become demons of rage, desire, pride, and so on. And depending on what they experience, how intensely they experience it, they can change between their aspects. Like our friend here, who has such an abrupt transformation that it made me think that he's being forced into it by the certain someone he mentioned. It could be that, but that would raise even more questions. Questions that the show is not ready to answer.
You dare command me like some common shade!
He withheld information when he could lie, he withheld information when he didn't need to, and he lost the opportunity to have the artifact. For a spirit of wisdom, he's really stupid. The demon is locked in a barrier, so he summons weaker demons outside of it, who will proceed to 1v1 Erza and Lazare, because otherwise they wouldn't survive this entire fight. The heroes are winning until one of the shades kamikazes the barrier, freeing the demon.
Say nothing.
And he immediately punches both of them so hard they go flying. Now, Erza can survive that, because she has super bullshit resilience. But Lazare is a mage. He didn't put points in Constitution. He dead. The demon goes for the circle, and the two heroes come up with a plan. Lazare will get the attention of the demon and hope to be fast enough to dodge his ranged attacks, which he shouldn't be. Meanwhile, Erza will hide somewhere to the side, and hope Lazare's attacks will force the demon to jump in her direction, so she can use her mallet to trip him and change his focus to her, while hoping he misses every single attack, giving Lazare enough time to cast a spell. A spell that needs to encircle the creature. A spell that he's casting away from it. The demon finally realizes his hand is bigger than Erza's shield, so he grabs it, lifts her up, and slams her into the ground, to show what happens when you don't have a helmet. But before he could do it again, help me! Lazare somehow moves the spell he was making, puts it around the demon, and finally banishes it. Luckily, he throws Erza away before disappearing, who proceeds to heal from her wounds by rubbing them.
If that artifact is a threat to Tevinter, we need to destroy it.
The plot is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Erza believes they should destroy it, but Lazare thinks it's only a threat in the wrong hands, and he won't lose it. Not even to Erza. And they are in a relationship.
Please don't make me protect you from yourself.
Church night has begun, meaning Dark Elf and the gang should be breaking in at this very moment. Lazare puts the defenses of the circle back up, and on their way out, Erza reiterates her disapproval of the insane defenses the artifact has, and Lazare reiterates his promise of changing them, which Erza uses as a jumping point to comment on the rotation she'll have to do tonight.
Do I get to do my favorite thing? Standing outside doors, carefully watching nothing.
Not a single line from
And that would be the call to evening chant.
to all the way here needed to be said. But now you know, and that was important. With the Tevinters going their separate ways, we cut back to Dark Elf and the gang, reiterating the plan. In a montage. And since there's way too much back and forth throughout the heist, I'm going to divide it in threads. First, Dark Elf. She will guard the escape route, and part of that requires her to clean the dead bodies. Luckily, blood really is just red water. Suddenly someone enters the room. It's an elven child. She's hiding from someone, which means trouble, but the sight of her triggers flashbacks in Dark Elf. Flashbacks from when she was a slave, playing with an elven boy that looks like her and killed Lazare, until the latter gets hurt a little, and that causes his mom to appear from the ether and punish her for it. Now from that, we cut to Lazare's personal guard, Ben, meaning he is likely the other Dark Elf. We will get to that later. The kid is hiding from the cook because she tried to eat trash, which is not allowed, and that triggers another flashback where Dark Elf is cleaning the floor and young Ben gives her a flower, only for Lazare's mom to show up and destroy it.
Lady, you are evil!
Dark Elf doesn't believe hiding will do anything, owing to his cynical nature, and that nature is about to get challenged because the cook shows up.
There's my bad-eared thief of an apprentice.
She's too drunk and racist to care about excuses. The fact that Dark Elf cannot lie to save her life doesn't help.
I think you should leave. I'll be damned if I let an elf tell me what to do.
Tell her a description of the kid and point in the wrong direction.
I meant no disrespect, but...
Pretend you were spying on something and the cook is getting in the way. She can clearly tell you're special.
Don't matter how special an elf you are.
Do anything that shows how crafty you are. The show clearly pretends that's the case.
This time, aim a little more to the right.
Just kill her then. You didn't care about the guards, kill the cook. What's the difference?
You're still just a tool.
God damn it, the cook calls her a tool and that triggers another flashback where she's training to be an assassin.
Family, you will not fail us.
She's training how to block a steel staff with daggers in reverse grip. Sure. Finally we cut back to present day and she snitches on the kid.
I believe I found what you're looking for.
It costs nothing to help. She doesn't have to go out of her way to do it. There is no conundrum to deal with. She simply has to lie. The cook would be gone way earlier, and you can keep the go of the scene. She has access to an escape route, and is not telling that to the elves. That's all you need. As much as you want her to be a cynical cunt, you've shown she's capable of compassion, and now she just stood there and let a child be taken, and possibly killed.
It's been a while since I've boiled all the pots clean. See how much heat that delicate elven skin can take.
You absolute... And you know what's the best part? At the end of the last Inquisition DLC, an elven god is going around and calling for all the elves to join him, because he's planning to cause some trouble, but wants his people to be safe, and he's supposed to be in Tevinter. Beautiful, isn't it? With the child gone, Dark Elf has a flashback attack. This time is Lazare and Ben being subjected to some spell being cast by Lazare's mother, likely what made Ben so quiet. But we don't get to know what it is yet. Instead, Dark Elf runs away and leaves the secret passage unguarded. Second, Geralt, Lackluster and Matt. Geralt will take the clothes from one of the dead guards, the ones that bled profusely, and then he will create a distraction, so Matt and Lackluster can open the way to the circle. In the middle of it, Geralt gets caught, because his idea of a distraction is to drop a chandelier somewhere and pretend he got hurt by it. Which would inevitably lead to his armor being removed by the guards that come to help.
The next patrol
They found Roland.
Very smart. Hearing the battle, Lacalusa goes to the rescue and leaves Matt alone. I'm sure nothing bad will come of it. During the battle, Lacalusa and Geralt can only put up a fight because of the plot, and the people behind the show are still trying to build a skyscraper out of water.
Well, thank goodness you've come to my rescue.
That sounds sarcastic. It's like the show assumed Dwarf was gay, and now it's acting like something's happening here. It isn't.
Happy cheese making future.
Third, ex-girlfriend and Dingadong. They'll keep the people from leaving the cathedral, and to do that, ex-girlfriend uses telekinesis to help lift Dingadong, so she can put a magical seal on the upper area of the door. They kept telekinesis from the games, and took it even further. Hopefully that won't raise any questions, but before Dingadong can finish her sealing spell, a patrol approaches, and ex-girlfriend uses an invisibility spell on herself and the flying healer,
Hang on!
which deactivates the telekinesis. Luckily, Dingadong managed to hold on to the wooden beams in the ceiling she wasn't anywhere close to. She fell up. Wow. And fourth, Lazare, Erza, and Ben. Ben and Erza are guarding the door to the cathedral, and she's making sure that you know he's the other Dark Elf in the flashback.
But I know you're loyal to Magister Amasine and that he thinks of you as family and...
She's having a one-sided conversation about Lazare's behavior regarding the circle, when suddenly the door to the cathedral opens, and Lazare comes out, allegedly wanting to go out for a walk, and... hold on, they are outside the cathedral?
Just fighting off boredom. Are you leaving early, Magister?
The scene as it is shows ex-girlfriend and Dingadong bending the universe to escape a patrol,
Blood and spite.
cuts to Dark Elf with her flashbacks, cuts back, and now Erza and Ben are keeping guard. What just happened?
I mean, he's cute, but yikes.
So they are here. Were these scenes supposed to be separate? Were the scenes of them putting the seals and Dark Elf dealing with the kid cut up and shuffled?
Let's stay focused.
What was any of this? Help! Anyway, the threads are converging. Dingadong tells ex-girlfriend to go back to Matt when the top seal is complete.
Oh shit, the third bell. Boost me up, then head to Fairbanks. I'll do the bottom seal on my own.
Speak of the devil, Matt finally opens the vault and ex-girlfriend joins him, saying Dingadong is already on her way back to the secret passage, and together they go in. She manages to break through the magic barrier around the circle, only for Matt to stab her in the back, specifically where it doesn't kill immediately. So when he tries to grab the circle, she uses magic to try and stop him. Idiot. Dark Elf, after running from the escape entrance, runs into Lazare and Erza.
The service is almost over. We should go back.
What terrible luck. The latter refers to Lazare by name just to force another flashback on Dark Elf.
I'll just be...
I know what you're doing, Rosarin.
This time, it's the end of the spell flashback. Dark Elf seems to have killed Lazare's mother, and Ben, meaning Ben is now a zombie.
Thinks of you as family.
Erza knows he wants to go back to the vault, and she doesn't like him obsessing over it, so he seemingly drops the idea, and they kiss, while Dark Elf contemplates killing them. Hopefully nothing stops that from happening. We then cut back to the vault where ex-girlfriend is fighting against Matt, outside of the magic shield. He failed to kill her immediately, she failed to kill him immediately, and now this. His reverse grip and dagger spinning aside, she, a mage, in melee, is keeping up with a man bigger, stronger, faster, and healthier than her. He can even block any magic she throws using daggers, somehow. She should be dead. He drops her to the ground, finally, but only because she gets distracted by the circle she somehow has, absorbing her blood, and instead of killing her, he takes the artifact away, giving her an opening to launch a bunch of small rocks at him with telekinesis, piercing multiple areas of his body, and somehow, he still managed to run. He should be dead. This whole fight was stupid. Without any options left, she panics and reluctantly activates the defenses, causing the circle's platform to sink into the water below, and release hundreds of magic crows that begin flying around the castle, activating multiple seizures and interrupting everybody, including Erza, who tells Lazari a tiny little detail about the defense system he should already be aware of.
Its security system isn't meant to stop intruders. It's meant to stop a full-scale coup. It's designed to kill everyone in the palace.
Ex-girlfriend activated the defenses by throwing her staff on the barrier. No spells involved. Are you telling me everyone here would be dead if a single piece of stone fell out of the ceiling?
To be a last resort.
It activates zombies kept inside of the statues around the castle. It summons demons. Having a character point out the stupidity of the defense system doesn't make it less stupid. Stop lampshading. This is the Pope's summer palace. Are you insane? While Dingadang runs from a rage demon, luckily it wasn't a pride one, Dark Elf returns to the escape entrance and finds Matt laying on the ground. She tries to talk to him, but he dies, and the blood around his body fills the space between them and splatters itself in her face, which is very unfortunate, because Lacalusa and Gato arrive at the exact moment to create drama.
What the fuck?